We're now back home in New York after 3 glorious days covering Salesforce's annual Dreamforce conference. But we're not quite done with our San Francisco coverage, not yet, because while we were out there, we found some time to check back in on one of the earlier AI stories that we covered in Cruise. That's right, the autonomous ride-hailing business backed by GM. Even with an impending strike by the United Auto Workers, driverless technology marches on. This time we got a chance to speak with Kyle Vogt. He's the co-founder, president, CEO, and CTO of Cruise, and we did it in the back of one of his autonomous vehicles, cruising the streets of San Francisco as we talked. First time he has ever done an interview from the back of a moving driverless vehicle. First time for me, too. Now, there's so much to cover here that we had to split this interview into 2 parts, one tonight and one for tomorrow. It's very exciting, so take a look. Well, this is comfortable.
You got to buckle up, and then you can just press that start ride button, and we'll be on our way.
Are you a guest? Are we okay there? All right, so it tells me exactly where I am. It knows your name because that's from your phone, right?
Yeah.
Just be sure it clicks. And what I have to imagine is that this is in San Francisco second nature already.
For a lot of people, they commute to work.
Do they really? Because then it's well timed for people to return. I saw that some the commuting numbers are up 18% year over year. So
interesting.
The direction is clearly going your way.
And we're off. So no one behind the wheel.
Well, okay, so did you tell Noki where we want to go, or is it just kind of freelancing?
When it's not just going on a joyride. When I open the app, I type in the address. So it's a coffee shop nearby. So we're going to head over there.
Fantastic. All right, so let's just get right to it. I want to talk about an incredible double standard, given the empirical data you have, between the dangerous ride and the safe ride. You've got data, third-party data, not from GM or Cruise, but actual universities that have no skin in the game. They're basically able, Michigan and Virginia Tech are able to say, here's the data. It's much more favorable for what you do.
Yeah, I mean, their contribution was to answer this really difficult question of how good are human drivers really? Because when we look at the federal data, the insurance data, it turns out the majority of collisions, especially the low-speed ones, aren't reported. So we established that. Now we actually know how good humans are, and unsurprisingly, they get into a lot more accidents than they report.
It's like 91% of the real bottom line of safety and injury versus, and there's the number of miles you now have, some more than 5 million.
Almost 5 million, yeah.
And the percentage of accidents is just so stark that if you have kids or if you have a teenage son or daughter, I think you want them in this, not up front.
That's our view. I mean, at this point, it is about a 75% reduction in the more severe collisions that could cause injury. Now, I get that sometimes AVs do something awkward, and that's the double standard.
Yeah, I saw the videos. So always have the videos of the two going together, or one stuck in cement. I mean, hey, let's talk about fatality.
I mean, that's the thing we need to anchor on is safety, because we forget that almost a 737 full of people die in the U.S. every day on our roads.
It's very daunting, because if you knew this, or I think that if we were back with Henry Ford or Duran, we would never have a human if we knew. We would always say we would create one of these if they had the technology.
Exactly. I think in things like, even ride hail as we have it today with the human driver who's listening, you don't know what they're doing before they got in the car, all those things makes people anxious. That was the best we could do absent this kind of technology.
Now, I've been talking with someone who's been looking at Progressive and Geico, Liberty, and looking at numbers with AI, always trying to figure out what's safest. I have to believe the insurance companies, which at one time I felt were very against you, are looking at the data and just saying, you know what, for a commercial vehicle, if I'm going to insure one that does commercial drives other people, that they would actually insure this at a better rate than having a human.
Yeah, I mean, look, there should be a reduction in collisions. And so I don't know exactly how that will translate to the insurance industry or how they'll modify their business models to adapt to that. But these vehicles will still get into collisions, just hopefully far fewer. And we're seeing that so far.
Well, that's why I think that maybe one of the next use cases for you might be the more forward-thinking rental car companies like our Hertz. I have to believe that there are talks going on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of interesting things for us, especially on the infrastructure side. Like we need parking and charging and maintenance for a large fleet of vehicles in the future.
But you do say in your most recent interview that I know of that demand is off the charts. Now that's commercial demand. People should understand that. That's not just I want to go buy one.
No, yeah, this is demand for the robotaxi service. So, there are tens of thousands of people in San Francisco that have already used this. And the service, when it's online and we have cars available, they're almost always busy. And we expect that to continue just because, there's over 200 million cars in the U.S. and there's only going to be, tens of thousands of robotaxis in the next couple of years. So there's going to be a lot of demand versus the supply we have.
Now, I would imagine that one of the users could sop up every single one. Walmart, big enough to... By the way, Walmart, people don't realize, very tech savvy. And I can imagine that they would buy every one that they could get their hands on. It saves them a lot. If you get that miles, the dollar per mile, I think if Walmart wants to drop off things, it's the way for them to make what has been a very intractable problem for them less expensive.
Yeah, it's huge for logistics. I mean, you see this if you order food from an app or order groceries from an app, all that money that it costs to actually get that delivered and the tip and everything else, we can do a lot better with robotaxis and more consistent, timely experience. And we're actually already running a pilot with Walmart on doing grocery deliveries.
See, I think if that pilot worked out, I would immediately start thinking, well, rather than having a franchise where I'm buying a series of, say, health clubs, Planet Fitness, what I would like to do is say, you know what, if the mile number is right, put together a group of people and create a franchise in each city that owns these and then makes a pretty good ROI. You're a tech guy. The ROI must be pretty good soon. Or is it now? The ROI good if I could buy 5 of these and do what we're doing?
I mean, yeah, so we're not selling these directly to consumers yet. It's just
that's what I'm saying.
Model.
If I did put together an entity,
right. Well,
I think of that.
I think down the road, as we have a larger service area and the cost comes down, I think that's viable. And you see these models exist today that you've described. There are people that own 5 or 10 cars and run them on the Uber network, or they're not AVs. And then there are people that like even large delivery companies like Amazon often use small mom and pop shops of 10, 20 vehicles, private fleet operators. And so that model does exist already.
Well, it just makes so much. Noki just switched lanes. What happened then?
We're making a left turn. You can see that on our map
so now the left turn. A left turn for some people, even when they're starting, can be intimidating in a city like San Francisco. This obviously can't be intimidated because it's got 360 view of things.
Yeah, well, I remember when I was learning to drive, green doesn't mean go, it means yield. So I had a couple close calls myself growing up.
Well, speaking of that, I'm going to use that and I feel awful about it, but the teenage death numbers are way too high and have gotten much higher, right? I mean, so the use case, it has skyrocketed. I couldn't believe the number, after years and years of the number of fatalities going down, they've spiked. So this is the right product just to be able to make that number go lower.
Yeah, I mean, that statistic is very painful for us, right? Yes. Like, if you think about it, cars are actually coming out with more safety features. There are more cars on the road with those safety features, but we're still getting worse in terms of fatalities. And I have to attribute that to just people being distracted. They're on their phones. They're doing other things.
They can't stop it, right? They can't stop it.
And so we've been unsuccessful as a society to do something about this. And I think that is okay because in some ways, because we have to get to work, we have to get to school, to our jobs, and there's been no effective solution, really. This is the first time we have a technology solution that can actually have a huge reduction in those injuries and fatalities as it scales.
Well, one of the most powerful lobbies in the country and successful is Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They should be, if you're against drunk driving, then you should be pro self-driving.
Yeah, and I think we talk to them a lot. And
you have?
Do some work together. Yeah, and some of the things I think, their points of view I find compelling are like, look, you're not going to get people to, as much as we try, there's some people who are just going to have a drink out there and going to find them in a situation where they're in a tough spot and need to get a ride home. And so providing alternatives, whether it's human-driven ride hail or AVs, is a great solution to those problems.
Coming up, Cramer takes your calls, and the sky is the limit. It's a fast-fire lightning round. Next.